Hello everybody. The Hexham Book Festival is a very special place for sharing stories, finding out about books, meeting authors and illustrators. But this year we can't even go into the wonderful Spiegel tent, which is going to be put up in the park so we could all enjoy things together. Because we're all at home. Well, while we're at home, we can always have time for stories. We can always have time to sit around, to get people to read with us, and to tell us stories. And I've got a story for you now. Have you got somewhere comfortable to sit? Good, because this story is all about a little rabbit. She wasn't big at all, and she was very busy in her house because it was her birthday. She was excited. She had made a wonderful cake. She had put icing on the cake. She had put Smarties on the cake with every colour that you can think of. And she had put her candles on the cake as well. Oh, but she was tired. Well, she'd worked so hard. So she left the cake on the table and she went outside to her little garden and she sat down on her own little chair by her own little table and she had a nice cup of tea. And while she was sitting there having her nice cup of tea, she heard a loud, dangerous sound. She heard a great big bang! It gave her a shock. It gave her a worry. She looked up. Oh, it was her door. It was the door to her house. She put down her teacup and she went over to the door and she turned the handle. But she couldn't open the door because the door was locked. Oh, no! She went to the back door, but the back door was locked as well. Then she had a good idea. She went back to the front door, and in her front door she had a letterbox. She opened up the letterbox. She looked inside, and she said, "Hello? Who's in Rabbit's house today?" And a voice inside the house said, "It's me. I'm a monster. I'm long and I'm green and I eat trees." Whee! Little Rabbit was very worried. Well, wouldn't you have been? Little Rabbit went and sat down on her little chair straight away by her own little table. And she had her nice cup of tea. She was so bothered. She was so upset. She didn't know what to do. But just then, along the path there came a very smart gentleman. He was wearing a very nice orange coat. He had dark eyes. He had a black nose and very sharp whiskers. It was Mr. Fox. "Hello, little Rabbit. My goodness me, you're looking very sad. What's the matter?" "Oh, I am sad, Mr. Fox, because there's something in my house, and it says that it's a monster, and it says that it's long and green, and it likes to eat trees, and I don't know what to do." "Oh, dear. Leave it to me." And Mr. Fox went off into the forest and he collected a whole big bundle of sticks. He brought them back. He broke them and put them down beside Rabbit's door. "Excuse me," said the Rabbit. "What are you doing?" "Now, don't you worry. I am going to make a fire, and I am going to burn down your door
to get the creature out.
"No," said the rabbit, "you mustn't do that, because fire is very, very dangerous and hot." "Thank you."
"Oh," said Mr. Fox, "sorry, I forgot about that."
And Mr. Fox was so ashamed, as he should have been, that he went off into the forest and hid. But then little Rabbit was all alone. So she sat down on her own little chair by her own little table, and she had a nice cup of tea. And while she was having her cup of tea, who should come along the path in his coat, which was orange and white and black with stripes, and he had very big teeth and very long claws? It was the tiger. And the tiger came and said,
"Ah, little rabbit, what's the matter? You're looking very sad."
"I am sad. There's something in my house, and it says that it's a monster, and it says that it's long and green, and it likes to eat trees. And I don't know what to do."
"Leave it to me."
And the tiger put out his claws and went all the way to Rabbit's house and started to scratch and tear at the walls. He went scratch and tear and scratch and tear. But little Rabbit said, "Stop! What are you doing?"
"I'm just going to tear down the walls of your house."
"No, you mustn't do that. If you do that, I won't have anywhere to keep my toys."
Oh, sorry, I forgot."
And the tiger went away and hid in the forest. And little Rabbit sat down on her own little chair by her own little table, and she had a nice cup of tea. And while she was having her nice cup of tea, who should come along the path but the biggest animal who walks on this earth, with great big ears and a very, very long nose. You're right. It was an elephant. And the elephant said,
"Oh, dear me, Rabbit. What's the matter? You're looking very sad."
"I am sad. I can't get into my house, and I don't know what to do."
"Oh, dear. Leave it to me."
And the elephant went all the way down to the end of Rabbit's path, which was a very long way indeed. And then, you'll have to help me, he started to walk and walk all the way towards the rabbit's house. But then the elephant got a little quicker and quicker, and then the elephant started to run and ran and ran and ran and ran and ran all the way towards the rabbit's house. But Rabbit said, "Stop! What are you doing?"
"I was going to knock down your house."
"No," said the rabbit. "If you do that, I won't have anywhere to sleep."
"Oops, sorry."
And the elephant was so ashamed he went and hid in the forest as well. And little Rabbit was all alone. So she sat down on her own little chair by her own little table, and she had a nice cup of tea. And while she was having her nice cup of tea, she heard another sound, which said,
"What? What? What?"
She looked around, and she couldn't see anything until she looked down into the green grass, and there was a little frog. And the frog said,
"I can help."
"You? But you're only very small.
I know, but I can play tricks. Watch.
And the frog jumped over to Rabbit's door, jumped up by the letterbox. And the frog said, "Sss, sss, sss." "I'm a snake," said the frog. "I'm a cobra, and if you don't come out of Rabbit's house, I'll spit poison in your eyes." Everything was still for just a moment, and then the door opened. And it wasn't a monster at all. It was one of Rabbit's friends who was playing a trick on her. But she was long, and she was green, and she did like to eat trees. And she had lots of legs. Lots of legs. It was a little caterpillar. She was long, she was green, and she ate leaves. And they grow on trees, don't they? "What have you been doing?" said the rabbit. "Come and see," said the caterpillar, and they went into the kitchen. And there on the table was the cake. The caterpillar had been crawling all over the cake and wrote a message which said, "Happy birthday." "Thank you," said the rabbit. "Would you like to stay for tea?" "Yes, please." They had a slice of cake each, the rabbit, the frog, and the caterpillar. The caterpillar had a very large slice, and then said she wanted to go to sleep. She lay down. She wrapped a blanket all around herself and made a little cocoon. She had a lovely long sleep. And when she woke up, she began to stretch. She began to push. She began to grow. And she began to open. And she changed from a little wriggling caterpillar into a great, big, bright, beautiful butterfly. And she flew all around the room. Little Rabbit said, "Thank you. That's the best present I've had for a birthday ever. Will you stay and play?" "Can't," said the butterfly. "I've got to go and find some flowers." So the little caterpillar flew away. The frog said, "Thank you," and hopped back to the pond. And Little Rabbit sat down and was very pleased she'd had such a lovely birthday treat. And that's our story. And do you know, at the Hexham Book Festival next year, there'll be lots more stories, and lots more books, and lots more authors, and lots more illustrators, and lots of people to share it too. And I hope that you'll be there to listen and to let us know if you have been able to tell stories as well. Bye for now. It's been nice listening.